Buckle up. While you've been obsessing over Bitcoin's next pump, the world's most powerful financial titan has been quietly architecting the greatest wealth transfer in human history. And it's not happening where you think it is. Imagine if I revealed that the planet's most influential financial powerhouse isn't merely watching cryptocurrencies ascent from the sidelines, but is systematically orchestrating the complete transformation of global finance as we know it. While mainstream media keeps your attention fixated on Bitcoin's volatile swings and Ethereum's latest upgrades, there's an entirely different chess game unfolding, one happening behind closed doors in executive boardrooms and gleaming corporate towers, driven by sophisticated algorithms and strategic vision, not social media hype and viral trends. This game belongs to BlackRock, the unprecedented $10.9 trillion financial colossus whose reach extends from Wall Street's trading floors to the White House's policy rooms. From central banking systems to climate regulation frameworks, from your retirement portfolio to the very foundations supporting our economic infrastructure. And here's the kicker, they're not gambling on speculation or chasing market volatility. They're methodically laying the groundwork, constructing digital pathways, and positioning themselves at the absolute center of tomorrow's financial universe. Because this revolution isn't about individual coins or tokens, it's about controlling the entire railway system. It's not about quick profits or overnight riches. It's about determining exactly how the world transfers value, processes settlements, monitors assets, and maintains regulatory compliance, seamlessly, transparently, and permanently. And the cryptocurrency names quietly embedded within this new financial operating system, XRP, HBAR, XDC, dismissed by skeptics, overlooked by many, yet silently being woven into platforms, corridors, and ecosystems where trillions upon trillions will eventually flow. XRP, engineered specifically for instantaneous cross-border liquidity solutions, has already undergone rigorous testing by major banks and financial institutions long before mainstream attention arrived. With its 3-second settlement capability and 1,500 transactions per second, it's processing payments with near-zero failure rates, while traditional systems struggle with days-long delays. HBAR, delivering enterprise-grade velocity and governance frameworks, enjoys backing from a governing council that includes tech giants like Google, IBM, and the most recognizable names in corporate America. Its unique hashgraph consensus delivers over 10,000 transactions per second while maintaining carbon-negative status and consuming just 0.00017 kWh per transaction. XDC, specifically targeting global trade finance digitization and asset tokenization protocols, comes with ISO 20022 compliance integrated directly into its core architecture. This network has been officially vetted under the UN's Model Law on Electronic Transferable Records and is already live in global trade finance corridors, handling the digitization of invoices, letters of credit, and cross-border documentation. These aren't your typical cryptocurrency investments designed for viral marketing campaigns. They're not built to generate social media buzz or trending hashtags. They're constructed to operate globally, efficiently, and permanently. So ask yourself this crucial question. If these networks are truly as irrelevant as critics claim, why are they being quietly integrated into the fundamental infrastructure of tomorrow's financial architecture? Why is BlackRock strategically aligning itself not with market noise and speculation, but with the operational backbone that nobody's monitoring? Because what's approaching isn't just another bull market cycle. It's a complete reconstruction, a fundamental reprogramming of the global economic system. And those who control the infrastructure railways will ultimately control the entire rulebook. To grasp where this transformation is heading, we must understand exactly who's orchestrating it. BlackRock isn't simply another investment management company. It represents the most powerful financial force in recorded history. Managing over $10.9 trillion in assets while monitoring an additional $25 trillion through their Aladdin AI-driven investment platform, BlackRock maintains significant stakes in virtually every major sector, from energy infrastructure and real estate to technology, media, and defense contracting. If there's a prominent company trading on global stock exchanges, BlackRock likely owns a substantial piece of it. But their true influence transcends mere capital accumulation. Through sophisticated tools like Aladdin, their artificial intelligence-powered investment engine that quietly manages risk calculations behind trillions in worldwide assets, BlackRock doesn't just participate in financial markets. They actively shape their direction and momentum. And now, this trillion-dollar titan has focused its attention directly on cryptocurrency infrastructure. The transformation began with calculated headlines, Bitcoin ETF applications, Ethereum fund launches, Wall Street-friendly messaging designed to reassure regulators and comfort institutional investors. But while public attention remained fixed on these surface-level developments, something far more significant was developing beneath the spotlight. Behind the scenes, BlackRock wasn't merely accumulating digital assets for portfolio diversification. They were conducting extensive research into tokenized finance systems, investigating real-world asset tokenization protocols, and studying distributed ledger technology not as speculative investment opportunities, but as operational tools for systemic transformation. Here's why this matters. BlackRock doesn't chase short-term price movements or market sentiment. They pursue long-term structural control. And the next generation of financial dominance isn't built on speculation or hype cycles. It's constructed on rock-solid infrastructure. That's precisely where XRP, HBAR, and XDC become absolutely critical. Each one purpose-engineered for specific functions. Each one designed not to become the next viral meme token, but to serve essential roles in a completely tokenized financial ecosystem. XRP, despite facing years of regulatory challenges and public misunderstanding, has already achieved integration into global banking systems, liquidity management hubs, and payment processing corridors. With partnerships spanning hundreds of financial institutions and its on-demand liquidity system freeing up billions in trapped capital, XRP eliminates the need for banks to pre-fund foreign currency accounts. HBAR, governed by a council including IBM, Boeing, Google Cloud, and Standard Bank, is forming the operational backbone of enterprise-grade blockchain services. ServiceNow is integrating Hedera directly into its Now platform for multi-party enterprise workflows, while DLA Piper's Scintilla digital asset creation engine has built a pipeline worth hundreds of millions on Hedera's infrastructure. XDC is quietly establishing partnerships throughout global trade finance, supply chain management, and document verification systems, areas where operational efficiency and institutional trust are absolutely non-negotiable. With its hybrid public-private blockchain architecture providing under 2-second transaction finality and near-zero gas fees, XDC is targeting the $19 trillion global trade finance industry. None of these developments generate flashy headlines or viral social media content. None of them create overnight millionaire stories, and that's precisely why they're monumentally important. BlackRock doesn't operate with reckless speed or impulsive decisions. They move with surgical precision and calculated timing. And when they do execute their strategies, they fundamentally reshape entire global systems. So when they begin aligning themselves strategically, not just with cryptocurrency assets as investment vehicles, but with the actual operational frameworks that power XRP, HBAR, and XDC's functionality, this isn't a simple trading position. It's a comprehensive blueprint for systemic transformation. A revolutionary new system is being constructed, quietly, methodically, and deliberately. And by the time global awareness reaches critical mass, BlackRock will already occupy the central command position. What immediately comes to mind when you hear cryptocurrency? For most people, it's pure gambling mentality, quick flips and fast profits, hype cycles and speculation bubbles, meme coins and market mayhem. Buy the rumor, sell the news, get in early, exit faster. The entire industry has been reduced to noise and volatility. But BlackRock operates by completely different principles. Because beyond the speculation and market manipulation lies something infinitely more valuable, genuine utility and real-world application. And that's where BlackRock's strategic attention is genuinely focused: XRP, HBAR, and XDC. These aren't just ticker symbols on trading screens or speculative investments. They're purpose-built protocols, meticulously engineered to solve massive real-world problems at unprecedented scale. These digital assets weren't created for meme culture or viral marketing campaigns. They were built to transfer value efficiently, enforce institutional trust, and support the digital transformation of trillion-dollar systems. XRP, the global liquidity bridge. XRP is frequently misunderstood by retail investors. It's not just another cryptocurrency competing for market share, it's a revolutionary bridge asset. Built specifically to eliminate the costly, outdated mechanisms plaguing cross-border payments, it's already achieved integration into liquidity hubs, payment corridors, and financial institutions spanning the globe. No traditional intermediaries creating delays. No waiting multiple days for settlement processing. No excessive fees eating into transfers. Just instantaneous, on-demand liquidity accessible globally. Brad Garlinghouse stated at Apex 2025 that XRP could potentially capture 14% of SWIFT's massive transaction volume, while Bank of America explores stablecoin development directly on the XRP ledger. HBAR, the enterprise trust layer. HBAR isn't attempting to compete with Bitcoin for store of value dominance or fighting for retail investor attention. It's quietly constructing the trust layer for serious enterprise applications. With its unique consensus mechanism called Hashgraph and governance by major corporations like IBM, Google, and Standard Bank, HBAR delivers exactly what traditional finance demands most: speed, security, and regulatory compliance. The World Economic Forum has specifically referenced Hedera in publications outlining technological roadmaps for digital finance interoperability. Recent partnerships include collaboration with NVIDIA for sovereign AI systems, while Blockchain for Energy joined the Hedera Council in 2025, building the B4E carbon platform for secure, verifiable emissions reporting. It's not focused on decentralization ideology or anti-establishment rhetoric. It's built around stability, transparency, and long-term institutional viability, the fundamental qualities that enterprise clients value most highly. XDC, the digital trade railway. Then there's XDC, arguably one of the most overlooked assets in the entire cryptocurrency space. Built specifically for global trade finance transformation, XDC focuses on tokenizing real-world assets, automating complex documentation processes, and creating seamless settlement railways between legacy banking systems and blockchain technology. And here's the crucial detail. It's already compliant with ISO 20022, the international messaging standard being adopted by central banks and financial institutions worldwide. The November 2025 deadline represents when SWIFT's coexistence period between legacy MT messages and ISO 20022 format officially ends, affecting over 11,000 financial institutions globally. This isn't theoretical development or future planning. It's already being tested extensively, piloted by major institutions, and quietly adopted by government-backed platforms. In March 2025, XDC Network activated its USDC bridge through XSwap protocol, linking directly to Ethereum and Arbitrum for enhanced cross-chain liquidity. So why don't most retail investors understand these developments? Because genuine utility doesn't generate spectacular overnight gains. It doesn't spike 1,000% in a single week. It doesn't trend on social media platforms or create viral content. It simply works consistently, reliably, and globally. And that's precisely why BlackRock finds it strategically compelling. They don't need headline-grabbing price movements or social media validation. They need infrastructure that operates effectively and survives long-term market cycles. BlackRock understands a fundamental truth that most people completely miss. Speculation and hype always arrive first, creating initial market excitement and retail participation. But utility and real-world application are what survive market downturns and achieve lasting institutional adoption. In the world of digital assets, the tokens that actually solve institutional problems and integrate directly into existing financial systems are the ones that win the long-term game. XRP, HBAR, and XDC aren't market trends or speculative investments. They're operational tools designed for systemic transformation. So the next time you encounter someone dismissing these tokens because they're not going to the moon or generating quick profits, ask a fundamentally better question, not how high can the price go, but who's building on this infrastructure? Who's integrating these systems? Who's already preparing for the paradigm shift? Because the future of finance won't be constructed on hype cycles or viral marketing. It'll be built on proven utility and real-world application. Most people believe power in cryptocurrency is measured by price performance and market capitalization, but genuine influence comes from relationships, institutional access, and strategic integrations happening completely away from public scrutiny. That's where XRP, HBAR, and XDC begin revealing their true significance. When you trace the corporate connections, institutional partnerships, governance structures, and enterprise use cases, a clear pattern emerges, one that leads directly to widespread institutional adoption and points toward BlackRock's broader strategic agenda. Start with Hedera's unique positioning. HBAR isn't just another Layer 1 blockchain token competing for developer attention. It's governed by a council of global corporate giants, Google, IBM, LG, Standard Bank, Nomura, Dell, Boeing, and many others. These aren't cryptocurrency startups or blockchain experiments. They're established legacy titans with global influence and institutional credibility. And they didn't join for speculative investment opportunities or quick profits. They joined to build compliant, scalable enterprise solutions, ESG tracking systems, carbon credit marketplaces, supply chain management platforms, and digital identity frameworks. Exactly the types of systems BlackRock needs to implement its comprehensive vision of tokenized finance with accountability and regulatory control built directly into the foundation. Now examine XRP's institutional positioning. Despite years of regulatory noise and legal speculation, XRP never stopped building real-world infrastructure. Ripple, the company behind XRP's ecosystem development, has quietly forged partnerships with hundreds of financial institutions, banking systems, remittance providers, and liquidity hubs spanning every continent. While mainstream media focused on courtroom drama and regulatory uncertainty, RippleNet continued expanding aggressively in regions where traditional banking systems are slow, expensive, or completely broken. Franklin Templeton's Ondo short-term U.S. government treasuries, OUSG, recently launched on the XRP ledger. while Ripple officially became a member of the ISO 20022 standards body in late 2024. BlackRock doesn't need XRP to achieve viral social media status or generate retail investor excitement. They simply need it to continue excelling at its core function, solving real-time settlement problems across international borders, especially in the corridors consistently ignored by Western financial institutions. Then there's XDC's strategic positioning. It doesn't generate mainstream headlines or social media buzz, but it's rapidly becoming the preferred infrastructure in trade finance, an industry worth over $20 trillion globally. XDC is actively working with platforms that digitize invoices, letters of credit, and cross-border trade documentation, representing a massive technological leap forward from the paper-based systems still used by numerous governments and multinational corporations. And it's already ISO 20022 compliant, which means it's speaking the same technical language as the institution's planning implementation of the next-generation financial messaging standard. XDC Network is the first and only Layer 1 blockchain member of both the International Trade and Forfeiting Association, ITFA, and Trade Finance Distribution Initiative, TFDI. Why does this institutional positioning matter so significantly? Because BlackRock is investing heavily in the tokenization of real-world assets, government bonds, real estate holdings, carbon markets, and trade contracts. They don't just need digital assets for portfolio diversification. They need programmable, scalable, regulatory-compliant infrastructure to support trillions in tokenized securities and institutional products. And XRP, HBAR, and XDC are already integrated into that future operational framework. This isn't conspiracy theory or speculative analysis. It's strategic convergence happening in real time. The world's most powerful asset manager is methodically aligning itself with the infrastructure being quietly tested by government agencies, adopted by major banks, and integrated into the operational backbone of the global economy. And almost nobody is paying attention to these developments. These aren't just cryptocurrency investments or speculative positions. They're strategic chess pieces in a much larger game. And BlackRock isn't playing for short-term profits or market speculation. They're positioning for long-term structural control of the global financial system. We're not simply witnessing a technological upgrade or market evolution. We're witnessing a complete system reset, one where money won't just move faster than current systems allow. It will move through entirely different operational frameworks. Assets will no longer settle in days or even hours, but in seconds with real-time finality. Contracts won't be signed on paper or stored in filing cabinets. They'll be coded directly into blockchain protocols and executed automatically. Banks won't just hold your money in traditional accounts. They'll hold your digital identity, your complete transaction history, and your access permissions to the entire digital economy. And the backbone supporting that revolutionary system, it won't be built on outdated Swift messaging rails or legacy banking infrastructure. It will be digital, tokenized, and completely automated with compliance monitoring and surveillance capabilities, baked directly into the foundational design. This is the world BlackRock is systematically preparing for. They're not betting on Bitcoin to replace fiat currency or traditional banking. They're betting on programmable finance, a system where every transaction, every asset, every identity can be tracked, verified, and controlled in real time with unprecedented precision. And that's exactly why XRP, HBAR, and XDC matter more now than ever before, because these aren't future concepts or theoretical developments. They're already operational and processing real-world transactions. XRP is settling cross-border payments for major financial institutions. HBAR is powering ESG compliance tracking and decentralized identity systems. XDC is digitizing global trade documents and connecting directly to government-backed platforms worldwide. Meanwhile, central banks across 105-plus jurisdictions are developing CBDCs with retail implementations planned. Major institutions are exploring on-chain bond issuance and tokenized asset creation. Governments are demanding enhanced transparency, operational efficiency, and regulatory control, the three fundamental capabilities these networks were specifically designed to deliver. And you guys, I have a special trick for you which nobody seems to be using, and I cannot wrap my head around why. Because if you sign up through my link down in the description onto the BTCC exchange, you get a 10% deposit bonus, and now stay with me here. Now here comes the important part. If you have any trading capital on any other exchange, and you move it to your newly created BTCC account, you get on top of your capital, you moved another 10% extra trading capital. As an example, if you move or deposit a 100K to your account, you get 10K for free. I'm not kidding. I really don't understand why nobody is doing this. To me, it really seems like people sometimes are too lazy or just don't like free money. I mean, like, I cannot make that account for you, will need to that yourself. All right, let's jump back into the video. The European Central Bank is in the preparation phase for the digital euro, with a final decision expected by October 2025. China's cross-border CBDC project with Hong Kong, Thailand, UAE, and Saudi Arabia reached minimum viable product stage in mid-2024, built on Ethereum-compatible digital ledger technology. It's not speculation or future planning anymore. It's active implementation and real-world deployment. And once this new operational system reaches full functionality, most people won't even realize the transformation has occurred. They'll simply wake up one day and discover that the world has fundamentally changed. Their payments will process faster than ever before. Their identities will be completely digital and blockchain verified. Their assets will be tokenized and programmable. Their transactions will be monitored and tracked in real time. And the infrastructure making all of this possible. It will be invisible to end users but present everywhere in the background, powering every financial interaction and transaction. That's how systems of control are actually built and implemented. Not with dramatic announcements or public fanfare, but with precision, patience, and methodical execution. So while everyone else is waiting for the next bull run or speculative cycle, BlackRock is constructing the foundational framework for the next entire financial system. By the time retail investors return to the market, the operational foundation will already be completely in place. And BlackRock, along with its chosen operational networks, will already be in absolute control. They told you cryptocurrency was nothing but a casino, a playground for gamblers, social media influencers, and tech enthusiasts, a speculative bubble destined to burst, a fad and passing phase that would eventually disappear. And while everyone argued endlessly over regulation, laughed at NFT projects, and waited for Bitcoin to break new all-time highs, the real institutional players, the ones who actually run the global financial system, were laying the operational groundwork for something much more significant and permanent. Something that will fundamentally reshape how the world operates financially. Because the future of finance isn't about meme coins or moonshot investments. It's about systematic control and institutional dominance. Control over how value moves between parties. Control over who gets access to financial services. Control over what transactions are visible and what data is tracked and monitored. And here's the remarkable part. It's not being built in secret or hidden from public view. It's all happening in plain sight, documented in BlackRock's strategic partnerships and corporate filings, in enterprise integration announcements, in ISO 20022 compliance documentation, in central bank pilot programs, in tokenized bond launches, in ESG framework implementations, in the backend systems of trade platforms and digital identity infrastructures. The BlackRock USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund, BUIDL, has become the world's largest tokenized fund, controlling 42% of the tokenized treasury bond market with over $2.9 billion in assets under management. It expanded by over 200% since July 2024 and now operates across 7 blockchain networks including Ethereum, Solana, Aptos, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Optimism, and Polygon. They don't need you to believe in XRP, HBAR, or XDC's long-term potential. They just need you to ignore them long enough for the operational railways to be completed and fully functional. Because when this new financial system becomes fully operational, there won't be a dramatic press release or announcement. No ceremonial flip of the switch or grand opening ceremony. Just a gradual, methodical transition from what used to be into what now is. Paper money won't disappear overnight or be banned by government decree. Traditional banks won't close their doors or shut down operations, but everything operating behind the scenes will shift fundamentally, quietly, permanently, and irreversibly. And by the time you realize that everything has changed, how we process payments, how we make investments, how we verify our identities, how we interact with financial systems, it will be too late to opt out or choose alternatives. Because the new system won't ask for your permission or require your approval. It will simply become the default operational framework, the only way to participate in the digital economy. In those 3 tokens you ignored or dismissed, the ones the financial headlines consistently overlooked, XRP, HBAR, and XDC,